Hey everyone, Tony Chips here, Chiappetta Shoes. This is Workshop Live. Today we're doing a met pad cutout, a metatarsal cutout. Now the whole point with the met pad cutout is that you're trying to offload typically the second and third metatarsal heads. So when we're dealing with something like this, we're adding around an area that we want to be below sea level. This is an accommodative process. We are adding material, so you could consider this a correction, but really in essence this is an accommodative process. A met pad cutout is a very common solution, a very common modification for anybody that has plantar plate tears, metatarsal depression where the bone has dropped down, sometimes caused by some sort of fracture, any kind of issue where we have a neuroma or neuropathy, where we have some inflammation. We want to allow this area to sit below sea level, so we build up around it. Now this is a modification that we get a lot of doctors sending their people our way, and it's really easy to do. You can do it with really crappy materials, but at Chiappetta Shoes we work with the best of the best, and you look at a lot of doctors, we work with a ton of them, and most oftentimes they'll put like a cheap felt underneath there. And felt is okay. It's something that does compress over its lifetime. It's not the best. It doesn't have the best characteristics in rebound and things like that. It does its job, but there are better materials out there. In most cases, we're going to do a met pad cutout, metatarsal cutout, with 3mm sponge rubber or cushion cork. Those are our two main products that we go with, okay? Cushion cork is a cork and rubber combination. This is a porous rubber combination, most oftentimes found in heel lifts, this material. We use this all the time in Workshop Live. It's one of my go-tos. This is a little heavier duty material, the cushion cork. So we're dealing with, I would say, 180 plus, 190 plus for a met pad cutout. Yeah, it's something 170 or less. This is going to do its job. It's going to feel a little bit more springy and bouncy. We always have to understand, okay, what are the materials we're working with and how do we set you up for the best process here. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to take you top down. We already have these cut out, and one thing to note when you're doing a cutout here is that you want to bring it back farther into the core support piece of the orthotic and be able to have enough material to blend it into the forefoot, okay? Now, we're only doing this on the right. We have an old set of Power Step Pinnacle Plus with the met pad. So we are working with an additional correction considering the met pad is built into this over-the-counter insert. Power Step Pinnacle Plus, big fan of them. You know, I think they're right around 50 bucks. We sell them at chiappettashoes.com and in our store. Great orthotic to work with. And we have an old one. We're doing both the new and the old just on the right side. I believe this situation is a plantar plate tear. I am not sure of what foot type we're working with. I did not work with this customer, so this is something that oftentimes happens with a plantar plate tear when we have too much pronation in the medial arch and in the midfoot. A lot of times that's combined with a forefoot varus alignment, so there's more mobility and flexibility, and that can be your E's and F's in my foot typing charts. Sometimes we get B foot types can have a plantar plate tear because there's kind of some awkwardness happening in the forefoot and the rear foot, but most oftentimes the foot's abducting. You're getting the foot's abducting. This is a left foot. You're getting some lateral splaying. You get some extra shifting of that second and third metatarsal bone. There's just a lot of soft tissue pulling. You get the metatarsal dropping down, tearing through the bottom of the forefoot. Could happen because of an injury, lifting a 50-pound sack of potatoes, and you're walking up some stairs and wham, boom, happens. Ladders, things like that. A lot of times that type of stuff doesn't necessarily happen to people that are overweight. It happens to lots of different people. It's more so about the mechanics. So we have our glue, we have a metatarsal cutouts. This insert already has a metatarsal pad. Power Step Pinnacle Met Plus is, it's got a good placement. I would argue maybe it's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit, maybe a 1/4 of an inch. A little too far back. It's still good and it's very effective. Chiappetta Shoes, Chiappetta Shoes does the best custom orthotics. We also do free modifications on over-the-counter inserts. So when we're dealing with this kind of stuff, any foot doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists, worldwide, US, stateside, anybody that's stateside, if you want to have your patients get over-the-counter inserts and a modification just like what we're talking about here, we do them for free. Our website is set up to allow you have your patients do it. You can make a recommendation. You want a second and third cutout, you just have them pop it in there and we'll get it set up. Easy shipping, and we'll take care of your patients. For anybody watching that's dealing with stuff like this, feel free to email, shoot out a question. We're here to help. We deal with all kinds of crazy situations. We always say we've never seen everything because crazy stuff happens to the feet. So we're going to take your top down again. This setup here it's a common thing we see. We've had a rash of customers coming in the last month or so with forefoot metatarsal issues, and it's crazy. They've all been related to shoe size. People are wearing too short of shoes. So that's a major issue that we see on a regular basis. Get measured. Foot doctors, put a Brannick device or a Ritz stick in your office. First thing you should do as a part of your screening process, measure feet. For the love of God. It solves so many problems. Just do it. Ask them what size they're wearing, measure them up. If there's a difference, tell them go see Tony, all right? We got this. We're gonna get this heated up a little bit and get your roll in. Now, when we're dealing with sponge rubber like this, it's a nice porous rubber. It's extra bouncy. Cushion cork, again, it's a little bit firmer. It's a cork and rubber combination. Works really well for this type of modification. On the max, I would say inside of the shoe, you got about a 1/4 inch of space to work with in addition to what you're dealing with. So if you go thicker, you typically want to go 45 durometer or less EVA. You can't really go thicker than that. You're just going to take up way too much volume in the forefoot, and you'll start working against yourself when you're dealing with any kind of metatarsal issues. The modifications could cause extra problems, and we don't want that. Okay. So we got that piece on there. Now she bought a new set. And again, we don't charge for modifications or adjustments. This is a part of our process. Our prices on over-the-counter inserts are a couple bucks higher than what you'll find on Amazon. But we don't charge for modifications. We are the best. Chiappetta Shoes, our mission here is to be your first step in solving foot pain. So let me take you over to the grinder real quick. Give it a pound. All right, this has been a Workshop Live. Tony Chips here, Chiappetta Shoes. What we have here is a Met Pad cutout, sponge rubber, 3mm. This works great for any kind of neuromas, any kind of plantar plate tears, any kind of forefoot issues where we want something to drop below sea level. This is a great material. We can take it an extra step by cutting this out even more and putting an extra soft polyurethane open cell material down that middle section. So this has been a Workshop Live. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check us out, ChiappettaShoes.com. Don't forget, ain't no better than Chiappetta. Ciao.